Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really mind-bending cosmological framework. It's a vision where time isn't a straight line at all, but a single looping surface that weaves together a prophecy, destiny, and the human soul itself. You know, we're all taught to think of time as this straight arrow, right? Past, present, future. Simple. But what if that's not the whole story? The source material for this explainer wants us to just throw that idea out the window and ask, what if our destiny has a totally different shape? So, instead of a line, this model imagines time as a Mobius strip. You know, that weird, twisted shape that only has one side and one edge? The idea here is that the beginning seamlessly connects to the end, meaning every single moment of our lives is just part of one single, unbroken, divine story. Pretty wild, right? Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the Mobius enigma itself, then get into the duality engine, this core idea of Ruh versus Nafs. After that, we'll look at 3 prophetic cuts, build out the bigger cosmic blueprint, and finally figure out where we fit into all this.
Right. First up, the duality engine. So what's making this whole cosmic loop go round? Well, it's all driven by this fundamental tension, a kind of cosmic tug of war between 2 opposing forces that exist in the universe and, right inside of us. We're talking about the Ruh and the Nafs. Let's start with the Ruh. This is the spirit. It's described as the divine command, this unseen light. The best way to think about it is as a life-giving force. It's all about growth, unity, multiplication, kind of like how cells divide to create more and more life. It's a creative, unifying impulse. And on the complete other side, you have the Nafs. This is the self, the ego, and it's presented as this chaotic, entropic force. It's all about pride, and it leads to decay. So if the Ruh is like cell division, creating life, the Nafs is like nuclear fission. It's this incredibly destructive power that just splits things apart from the inside out. So let's just put them side by side. You've got Ruh, that's growth, like cell division. It's light, it's truth, a unifying force. And then you have Nafs, that's splitting things apart, like nuclear fission. It's fire, it's wrath, a fragmenting force. This constant push and pull, this tension between creation and destruction, that's the engine driving everything along this Mobius strip of time. All right, so we've got the engine. But what about the path itself? This model suggests the journey is structured by 3 key prophetic figures who create what the source calls cuts along the fabric of time, shaping the path for everyone who follows. So these 3 cuts correspond to Musa, Isa, and Muhammad, peace be upon them all. First, you have Musa, representing this powerful submission to the direct word, a real force against falsehood. Then comes Isa, who embodies that word made flesh, representing a kind of spiritual ascension. And finally, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam brings it all together in the final synthesis, the complete and unified revelation for all time. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit, because this isn't just about forces and prophets. The whole thing builds into this massive cosmic blueprint, weaving together angels, stars, and even specific chapters of the Quran into one coherent system. I love this part. The model lays out this really elegant symbolic hierarchy. So, Gabriel, the angel of revelation, he's the sun, the source of pure, direct divine light. The prophets, they're like the moon, perfectly mirroring that light back down to us. And then there are the planets, and that's us. We're the ones caught in the middle, able to either reflect that light of mercy or, fall into the darkness of pride. Now, this whole blueprint is encoded in a way in key chapters of the Quran. For instance, why did Allah send one Ruh to Maryam, but the Ruh with angels on Laylatul Qadr? Well, Surah 19 shows that singular descent for a personal birth, a specific miracle. But Surah 97 describes the universal descent for the Quran, guidance for everyone. But there's a flip side. Surah 74 warns that over at our 19, a reference to 19 angels of wrath who act as a direct test for the soul, a test of its purification. And this all leads to a really powerful duality, 2 possible destined nights for the soul. On one hand, you have the night of power, Laylatul Qadr, from Surah 97. That's for purified souls ascending towards the light as the spirit and angels descend with peace. But then, there's the other night, the night of collapse, described in Surah 81. This isn't a night of peace, it's a night of total overthrow, where the world of the ego, the nafs, trapped in falsehood, just comes crashing down. So, after all this cosmic, high-level stuff, the big question is,
what does it have to do with you and me right now? Well, this model says our specific point in time on this loop has a name and a very specific purpose. It's called the Age of Taghut. Now, Taghut basically means anything that's worshipped instead of God. It could be tyranny, idols, systemic falsehood, you name it. The idea is that we are living in this period of intense trial, long after the prophets have walked the earth, and we're left to navigate it all with the final revelation they left behind.
So what's our job in this age? This quote really sums it up. We have to stand in the Muhammad section of the loop. That means balancing the righteous wrath of Musa against falsehood with the profound mercy of Isa. It's about taking the lessons from both, all under the final unseen truth brought by Muhammad. It's about finding that balance inside ourselves to deal with that constant push and pull of ruh and nafs. And that really brings us to the final big question to think about. What does it actually mean for us to be living inside this Mobius loop of time? If our lives aren't just a straight line to the end, but part of this endlessly cycling, interconnected story of tests and divine patterns, how does that change the way you see your own story, your own purpose, and your own destiny within it?